Yeah, yeah. Yeah, defend your gen. Let the fun begin. Defend your gen. Then we'll do it again. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Okay.
All right, welcome back to Defend Your Gen. I'm your co-host Miranda, representing the millennials, the generation based on dial-up internet, burned CDs, and the belief that if you had to put it on MySpace, it was basically official. On this show, we go head-to-head on movies, actors, music, and pop culture that shaped us. We're talking classics versus cult favorites, legends versus icons, and the ultimate question, did your generation actually have better entertainment, or are you just nostalgic?
I like it. But the answer is my generation's better.
I don't know. I think I took the W. I think last week, but
You
we'll
can't
see
just go
what
by the
everyone.
comments.
The audience.
Oh. Actually, you can go by
They
the
get to
comments. That's the whole
choose.
point of the thing, I guess. So, but that's because more people your age commented. It's skewed, I tell you. It's
Yeah.
skewed. You're going to win
We gotta
every
get
episode.
engagement up.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. That is right.
It's all good. We're brand new. So, I just need some more old ass people watching. Oh, and I
All
have an
right. I
amendment.
guess. Oh.
I have an
Oh.
amendment to last week. Something I forgot to
Okay.
say. It was a missed opportunity that I want to go back and correct. So remember how I talked about the outfield being one of the bands from my generation that was like kind of overlooked, and
Mm-hmm.
two of the members died, and I said there's only one outfielder left. I should have
Mm-hmm.
said so. Two band members died. There's only one outfielder left, and the other two are angels in the outfield.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I got you. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. I wish you would have said that.
I know, me too. Can't rewind time though. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're not Cher.
No. All right. So what are we starting off with?
Okay, so we are gonna start with the best movie picks for
Okay.
the week. Do
All
you
right.
want to start, or do you want me to start?
No, I'll let you start.
Okay. So my pick this week is one of my favorite animated movies from childhood, A Bug's Life. What's crazy
Oh.
is that it was actually Pixar's second movie ever, coming right after Toy Story. And
Mm.
I feel like it followed such a massive success that it kind of gets overlooked when we talk about iconic 90s animated films. And I just think that it really holds up still, because you look at Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Toy Story, but honestly, it's so good. And for me, it's so memorable. I have this little guy right here, Francis.
Oh
Say
wow.
hi. I have this
That
little cutie
was
right
that
here.
was a really good movie actually. The main character's name was Flick, right?
Yep, that's right.
Was it Matthew Broderick who did the voice? Who did the voice?
I don't think so. I think it
Really?
was for me, it was a lesser known person.
Okay.
I
We'll have
didn't
to look it up.
recognize the guy's name.
Um
Um,
I thought it maybe not. Well, no, it probably wasn't because Matthew Broderick did the young Simba in The Lion King. So they wouldn't have used I don't think they would have used him for that, right?
oh, okay, no, it wasn't him. I looked it up, but it wasn't anyone that I recognized who it was.
Okay.
I, yeah, I think one of the weirdest pop
Oh,
culture
no, I
moments
know.
from that year. Oh,
Wasn't it Dave Foley? Like from Kids in the
yes.
Hall? Dave
I
Foley.
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
didn't recognize him.
Yeah. No, you know who he is.
But
You
what
just
I
don't know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just don't know his name.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is that one of the weirdest pop culture moments from that year is the fact that DreamWorks released Ants a month earlier,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
insane when you think about it, because two major animated ant movies
I know.
coming out at the same time.
I don't think that's an accident.
As
I
a
think
kid, as a kid, I actually liked both of them, but A Bug's Life definitely wins for me. Even though Hopper scared the shit out of me as a child, honestly, he might still be one of the scariest villains of all '90s movies.
Yeah. When two things come out close that are like from different studios, but they're like when Wyatt Earp came out right after Tombstone, and it's the same,
Mm-hmm.
basically the same story. That's not an accident. Like somebody starts on a script or a story, and then another studio gets wind of it, and they're like, "Oh, we got to do our version of it." They won't
Yeah.
admit that, but shit like that happens. And Ants was so it was such a different type of animation. Like it was very angular,
Yep.
the way the ants were.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Very. Yeah. The
I
shape
I
of
think it
them.
was for a slightly older audience. Like Bugs Life looked
Mm-hmm.
so like kid friendly,
Kid
and
friendly.
Ants
Mm-hmm.
looked more like young adult friendly. You know what I mean? Because it was like Woody Allen played the main
Definitely.
character, which was kind of unusual in itself. But I remember loving Bugs Life. It was great. I mean, I in my 20s and
Mm-hmm.
stuff and 30s, I really liked animated. I still like animated movies. A lot of us are just big
Yeah.
kids. My favorite was
Mm-hmm.
the caterpillar. What was
I'm
his name?
I'm
Like
blanking.
Heimlich or
And I literally know it.
some
Yes,
weird
Heimlich, Heimlich. Yes,
Heimlich.
yes, yes.
Well, that was
Yeah.
funny because they even made like a couple of Disneyland things or California Adventure things from Bugs Life. They had the
Yes, and they actually recently took them away. They moved them like across the street actually to a different kind of park and uh
oh
I think that's cool that they still exist.
right. No, I always liked the Bugs Life when you go in the theater and you watch the thing on screen, the 3D show, and then the
Mhm.
tarantulas or black widows come from the ceiling and they come down on little strings and stuff and scare the crap out of you.
Mhm.
Like that was a really good show actually
Yeah.
back in the day. And then
Very memorable. Me Yep.
they had the Heimlich like not a roller coaster, but it was basically like a little car on a track that would go around and had like it was him because it was like a caterpillar. But yeah, it was they did some cool stuff with that theme at the park.
I know. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it doesn't exist.
Well, it's
Not
sad
at
it didn't
least
get
at
the
Disneyland.
that the movie didn't get the recognition because it was overshadowed by all the other great Pixar stuff.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
um, my my movie that I want to talk about this week briefly is Ghostbusters.
Ooh.
The original freaking Ghostbusters. And I can't tell you how many
I ain't
times I've
afraid of no
watched it.
ghosts.
And there's so many good one-liners from that I mean, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, forget about it. I mean, just those, Harold Ramis, of course. But um, I was looking at some fun facts on that because I can just talk about regular stuff or one-liners like where do these stairs go? They go up. Um, or how what was that one line about? Okay, so she's a dog because she turned into a dog or whatever, or like a demon dog. Um, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was originally supposed to be like super scary looking, but the filmmakers thought
Oh.
they thought it would be funnier if it was a giant monster that looked like cute and harmless, but it was also a monster. So they actually changed it
Mhm.
to look like it was harmless, and then it wasn't harmless after all. Of course, it ended up on fire, and everybody had s'mores. But
Yeah.
mm,
I love it.
that would have been funny if they had the little graham crackers and their chocolate ready. But
Heck
also
yeah.
Dan Aykroyd originally wrote Ghostbusters as a huge sci-fi
Oh.
movie involving time travel and space ghosts before it got rewritten into the comedy classic that we know today. I thought that was kind of funny. I can imagine that being a time
That is
traveling
cool.
movie, you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, uh, two good movies actually.
Yeah, that was a good head to
Y-
head.
You be the
Um
judge.
yeah, I love both of them to be honest. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no
And that
complaints here.
Ghostbusters they did the remake with all the women a few years back. Oh man,
Yeah.
that was a mess.
It
That
was
was,
it was, it was okay, you know.
no, God, it was not okay. It was horrible. Come on,
I mean,
it had
I
Thor in it.
like I like some of those actresses, but that was pretty
I
much.
know. I
It had
like the
no
actress.
reign on the original.
I like the actresses. It's just that they put a stain on the name. I don't know, in my opinion.
They lost the plot. Yeah, they didn't help it.
No, I mean even the two newer Ghostbuster movies. I love. what's his name from Stranger Things? Um, the kid that's in the new Ghostbuster movies. What's his
Mm-hmm.
name? I can't remember his name.
I can't think of his name.
Anyway, he played Mike in Stranger
Is
Things.
it Gatton? Oh no, it's
No,
not Gatton.
no,
Gayton. It's not
Gaten
Gayton.
Matanzaro. That's the dude with the weird teeth.
Yeah.
Uh, Wolfgang something or
Is it uh
Wolfhard. His last
Wolfgang?
name no, his last
Yeah.
name is Wolfhard.
Is it
Anyway, I really like him. I like where his career's going.
is
I've
it
seen him in a
Finn?
couple.
Is that his
Finn
name?
Wolfhard. Finn Wolfhard. Thank you.
Okay, we
I've
got
seen
there.
him. Yeah, I know it took a while, but sorry guys. I, he's been in a couple indie movies and stuff, and now he directed a little horror movie type thing. I've seen all his stuff, and I love it. I don't know why. It's just probably because I loved Stranger Things. I was so deep into Stranger Things, and I was so sad when it ended. That last scene where he goes up the basement stairs, and he turns around, and his sister and her friends are now doing what they did when they were young. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just so cool. I love Stranger Things. I even watched the new animated one on Netflix. You know, it was okay.
Oh
It
wow,
was
I didn't
kind
know
of
they made an animated. That's so
uh-huh.
cool.
It's like Tales of the '80s or something like
Uh-huh.
that, and it was pretty good. I
Oh.
mean, it was okay. It was a good Stranger Things fix, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, I was gonna say that those two movies, the newer movies, aren't bad because Paul Rudd's in them too. Don't get me started. I love my Paul Rudd, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Anyway, all right. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's next?
Okay, so what is next is our picks for the week for favorite actor.
Oh,
And I have a twofer. Okay, I got a twofer. My pick this week might be controversial, but I'm standing by it. Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, the Olsen twins. And honestly, if you grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, you know how huge they were. Between Full House, all the straight to video
predictability.
movies, mystery series, books, dolls, clothes, the Olsen twins
Everywhere you
absolutely
go,
dominated
everywhere you can.
millennial childhood culture. And what's funny is that people sometimes forget how hard they worked because they started so young. One minute they were Michelle Tanner saying, "You got it, dude." And next they were starring in every mall DVD section in America. You can't deny that they were everywhere in the 90s. Check out some of my books.
What? You got show and tell?
Ooh. Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Look
Oh
how
my goodness.
cute.
Are those thrift store
I have
finds?
probably 20 different ones. Yeah, yeah. I
Hmm.
have a lot of them actually.
Wow.
Because yeah, they were so iconic to me. I remember when mom would go get our haircuts for me and Megan, and she brought in this like little picture of Mary Kate and Ashley, and she was like, "I want this." And yeah, we were cute little, matching haircut sisters.
I wonder how long it's going to be before you donate those back to a thrift store to get rid of a bunch of junk and somebody else buys them and it's like, oh, I love these back from 100 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be super interesting to track that. Maybe I could like write a little blurb in them.
Yeah. Whoever this ends up, whoever's hands this ends up in, give me a call.
Yeah.
Um, so my favorite actor that I'm going to talk about this week from my gen, it's not a twofer, but I mean, he's so big and so awesome that it might as well be a threefer because I'm talking about
Okay.
the one, the only Harrison Ford,
Oh
or
gosh.
or as
Yeah.
I call him, Harry Ford. So I mean,
Okay.
he got his start basically in I mean obviously Han Solo, Star Wars, but I think didn't didn't that other movie come out first? Um, American, what was it called?
I'm not too
American,
sure.
what do you call it? It was like a hot rod culture and stuff like that. But basically,
Mm-hmm.
he was a carpenter, and George Lucas like saw him and wanted him to. He needed someone to read lines with some of the other actors, and like he was
Oh.
working as a carpenter, like in the building, and
Mm-hmm.
he asked him to read some lines and stuff, and he did, and he just fucking became Han Solo. Just
That's
like by
crazy.
accident. I know. And then he became one of the biggest stars in the world just by accident because that wasn't his
Wow,
trade.
that
That's
is
not
fate.
right. I know. And he's so iconic. His face is so iconic. His voice is so iconic. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he has such a presence. The Han Solo storyline, Indiana Jones, you know, which Raiders of the Lost Ark was one of the biggest movies in the world ever. You know,
He's
one of the
had
best
really
action.
iconic roles.
He has, and he's had a lot of them. I mean, he played, you know, the president. He played, um, like, and he keeps reviving his old stuff too. Like they just did another Indiana Jones not too
Mm-hmm.
long ago. They just did another Star Wars not too long ago, and he
Yep.
was quoted as saying that he wants to kill off all of his old like you know characters. Like they did that Blade Runner a few years ago with Ryan Gosling, and he was in it of
Mm-hmm.
course because he was the original Blade Runner. It's like so you're like okay he's gonna die in this movie because you know that's his thing. He wants to die, kill off all of his old
Yeah.
characters because it's more memorable too when you die in a movie. You know. But
Yeah.
because he's already done all the things in the movies that he can do. What else does he have to prove? You know. But he's still making movies. One of
Right.
my favorite movies from him, by the way, it's such an odd movie, but it's like 6 Days and 7 Nights, I think it's called, with him and Anne Heche, and
I've never
they get
seen that.
stranded on an island. It's just so funny, and so the action is good. He was still young enough because it was like 10, 15 years ago, where he could kind of run around and do
Mm-hmm.
things. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's got a lot of heart to it, you know, but it's also funny. It has a little bit of drama. Um, Ross is in it for a minute, you know, from Friends. What's his name? David
Yeah. David
something.
Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer. But yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a really funny, really kind of cool movie. But it might have
Hmm.
been late '90s. I don't know. It might be early 2000s though. But that one really holds up because I've watched it. You know. Um, But a fun fact about Harrison Ford, he did many of his own stunts throughout his career, and he had a lot of bumps and bruises and broken bones to prove it. Now he's one of the reasons that studios don't allow actors to do their own stunts anymore because insurance reasons. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to be
Right.
not filming while someone's recuperating and stuff like that. So you know, like
Makes sense.
Tom Cruise loves to do his own stunts and everything, but he's obviously getting older too. So
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be ixnaying that pretty soon in his career. Plus, I mean, how many more Mission
Now,
Impossible movies are they going
hopefully.
to make? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right? They just keep going, but they're good. They're good.
So Harrison Ford
All
versus the
right. That
Olsen
was
twins.
pretty interesting mashup there. They're both really iconic, but I would say that Harrison Ford is he's legendary. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Legendary.
I think you take the I think you take the W for that one.
All right, I'll take it.
All right. On to the next. My pick for the best show in my generation is easily
Hannah
All
Montana.
That.
Oh, wow.
No, All That.
All that. I didn't see that coming.
Um, if you grew up in the 90s, this show was my gen's version of Saturday Night Live for kids.
Is
It
that
had
where
ridiculous sketches. Go ahead.
Keenan and Kel came from?
Of course, yeah. It had
Okay.
ridiculous sketches, fake commercials, recurring characters, musical guests, and complete chaos every episode, which is exactly why so many of us loved it. The success of all
Hmm.
that helped launch the entire era of Nickelodeon stars and shows like Keenan and Kel and The Amanda Show, which are some of my faves. At the same time, though, it's hard to look back on that era of Nickelodeon without mentioning how unfortunate and disturbing its creator of the shows, Dan Schneider, is, and he later became surrounded by all the controversy and gross allegations. It definitely makes revisiting some of these childhood favorites feel a little bit more cringy or complicated as a rewatch as an adult.
Whoa. Well, I only have one thing to say to that. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How may I help you?
Can I take your order? Yeah, I mean, Good Burger was
Good Burger?
definitely so memorable. And
Yeah,
who likes orange soda?
I love orange soda, and I do
I
love
do,
orange
I
soda.
do, I do.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's good stuff. Now I want orange soda. Damn
What'd
it.
you pick?
Um, I picked an iconic show from the '80s that I haven't really thought about for a while. Um,
Hmm.
but I think it's good because it has a kind of a cool story. Well, I don't know, kind of an interesting story. Anyway, I picked Cheers. Um,
Okay.
it was so cool because like it had a great theme song, a great opening song. It was the whole thing where, like when Norm walked in, everybody was like, Norm, that's kind of when that whole thing started. And now there's memes and all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things. But I remember reading about it where the first season, people just like didn't love it right away, but the studio believed in it
Mm-hmm.
so much that they kept it around and it just became legendary. Somebody made a really good decision because nowadays, if you fail on your first season, you're out. You know what I mean? And we've
Yeah,
seen that.
of
We see that
course.
every
Yeah, you
year.
don't even get picked up.
No,
Mm-hmm.
we see that every year. We see like DMV or something stupid, some dumb comedy comes along, and if you don't get a certain rating, you're done. And I have a hot take on Cheers too, by the
You're
way.
done.
You ready for this? Sam
Yes.
and Sam and Diane were the original Ross and Rachel. Yes.
Ooh,
So Shelley Long and Ted
that's
Danson
good.
were the original Ross and Rachel because everybody was like, "Are they gonna get
I've
together?"
only ever seen a few episodes.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's I don't know. It obviously it obviously watches like an '80s show just because of what it looks like, and it's all it
Mm-hmm.
all centers around the bar. You know, um, that's still a real
Mm-hmm.
bar that exists, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
That's cool.
and
Does
a
that
lot of
show have anything to do with Frasier? Because that's what I think
yeah,
of
yeah.
when I think of Cheers. I
Frasier
think
was
of
a
Frasier.
character. Frasier was a character in Cheers, and he got his own
Okay, so
spinoff.
it was a spin-off. Okay, because I
Yep.
loved Frasier. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that show so much.
Yeah, that became as popular probably as Cheers because it was such a great character to build a whole show around, and somebody knew that. So, um,
Yeah, like Cheers missed me, but Frasier was right there to get me.
yeah. So if you love Frasier, then you would have loved like if you would have gave Cheers a chance because the characters in that
Mm-hmm.
were great. Um, and it was just, it's one of those shows where you work all day and you come home and you have dinner and then you watch a couple of comedies before you go to bed, and that was one of them. It was like, oh, this is my Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
This is my thing. But yeah,
I I heard that they had like an unprecedented amount of viewers for the finale of Cheers.
that was
Wasn't
like
it
one
like
of those.
something crazy?
It was like one of those top 10 finales, like MASH or
Yeah,
Sopranos
that's what
or
I thought.
Lost, where yeah, they kind of
Mm-hmm.
blew the numbers out of the water, and no one really kind of saw that kind of thing before. But that's when you could have finales like that. We kind of touched on it last time, where you
Right.
won't you won't see
Right.
a finale like that anymore because everything streams now. People watch it on their own time. No one gets together at the same exact time
Mm-hmm.
to watch something live anymore. Not live, but you know what I mean, at the same time on TV. So just like
Yep.
cable doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, I don't know.
I know.
It's kind of
It's
sad.
crazy. It is pretty sad. We can never really get that back.
Nope.
But more into watching what we watched on TV, let's get into the best cartoon of our generation.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one.
Now, yes, it is. For me, my pick for the best 90s cartoon is easily dun, 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 SpongeBob
SpongeBob.
SquarePants. It originally premiered May 1st, 1999 on Nickelodeon, and honestly, I don't think anyone could have predicted just how massive it was about to become. More
No.
than 25 years later, SpongeBob is still everywhere. From their 7 spin-off movies, the SpongeBob meal at Burger King a few months ago, which was delicious, to its current 16th season. The first era of SpongeBob is peak millennial nostalgia, quoting episodes at school, singing the theme song way too loud, and somehow still laughing at jokes you've heard 100 times. I find myself rewatching this a bunch, and even with my kids, we do.
Wow. Didn't he live in like like a guava under the sea or something like that?
Yeah, totally a guava under the sea.
Hey, wait, whoa, was that like a Patrick mixed with a Mr. Crab? What is that?
Basically,
It's like a
I
pirate
just got him
Patrick?
because he was cute. It was from their new movie,
Okay,
so yeah,
nice.
he's cute.
Was the meal actually good?
Oh yeah, it was actually really good. It came with this like they called it like a Patrick Star pie, and it was so good. It was kind of
No,
like a strawberry cream
I,
pie.
yeah, I saw it on the commercial. I was like, do I go get that just to say I had it, or do I just kind of like ask Miranda later? So here we are.
Yeah, I think it I remember it coming with like a pineapple shake, and I didn't really care too much for that, but I
Oh,
liked the pie so much.
what was the meal? Just a burger, like a Whopper or something?
It was a like a Whopper with a yellow bun.
Oh, okay.
So that was pretty good too.
Yeah. No, that's I mean that's so big. Like that's like Simpsons. It's just everywhere. The merchandising went crazy. They kind of copied the Simpsons with that, which is, everybody
Mhm.
does now. Once something's a hit, the merch just goes out the window and it's like it's everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
There's nobody that doesn't have
I
or hasn't bought like a SpongeBob thing
love
for their
it.
kids, you know.
Oh yeah. So true.
And I even got into it
What'd you
with
pick?
I got into it with Casey too because he loved SpongeBob, but his mom was like,
Oh yeah.
he's not watching any cartoons unless it's educational. So when she was gone, we would watch SpongeBob. It's kind of educational. You learn how to blow a bubble, right?
Yeah, catch jellyfish,
Yeah.
annoy your neighbor.
Big time. There's a lot of things. Flipping burgers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hey, there
Um,
you go.
so my cartoon from my generation, and I really had to do research to try to figure out what gave me the most feels because last time I talked about
Mhm.
Warner Brothers and Bugs Bunny and everything, and I had to
Yeah.
find something that was a strong number two or something that was a little when I was a little bit older that I really liked. So I went with like something when I was a little bit older, and
Okay.
it's also pretty awesome because a lot of people didn't see it, and it is
Mhm.
Thundercats. And
Oh, okay.
they've talked about making a live action version of it. You know how He-Man's coming out finally, they're doing that. They've talked
Yes.
about making a
Yeah, me
live
too.
action
Yeah.
of Thundercats for a long time, and I think they might finally be working on it. I hope I hope it's good. I hope they don't ruin it, but when they do stuff like that, chances are, Um, but I found out that the reason the animation looks so different than anything at the time was because it was actually animated in
Mhm.
Japan, and they have a different way of doing things. So their
Oh.
video cells
Right.
look a lot different than what we have. And it just showed, and that's
Hmm.
why a lot of people are into Japan anime or Japanimation, if you want to bastardize
Of
it, which I
course.
love doing, because it just has a different feel and a different look and a different sound. It's like they make mini movies instead of cartoons. But
Mhm. Wow.
it's yeah,
Didn't know that.
and then the fun fact about it is the famous intro line: "Thunder, thunder, Thundercats, ho!" And he's holding up the sword. It's kind of like a He-Man thing. Basically, it's
Mhm.
kind of a rip-off of.
Yeah.
I don't know who was first. He-Man might have been first, but it's still considered one of the greatest cartoon intros ever because he does that, and then the music starts and everything, and then they show all the different cats, because there's like Lion-O's the main guy, and then there's Panthro and Wily Kit and Wily Cat and Chitara, and yeah, I kind of remember all of them. But
Wow.
it was
I'm like, wow, super
yeah,
fan.
yeah. No, I didn't even look that up. I still remember all their names. I had like little action figures and stuff, but I
Mhm.
digress. That was probably one of my favorite things to watch. Besides, well, I can't say what besides because I have to save a couple for next time.
Okay, so Thundercats versus SpongeBob.
I mean,
I
SpongeBob
don't
has to
know.
win. SpongeBob has to win
It's
because it's
gotta
just
win the mass appeal.
my thing's cooler, but your thing is just that has such a wide scope. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, our next topic is the best toy from our childhood. And I have one that I think you may remember.
Oh no,
My pick for best toy of my childhood
you
has
better
to
not have a
be.
Furby.
Oh my gosh, no. It has to be these guys.
Oh shit, I remember buying those for
Ooh.
you. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bratz dolls. They were first released in 2001 by MGA Entertainment and almost immediately became a huge part of millennial and early 2000s childhood and culture. At the
Yep.
time, they felt so different than dolls like Barbies because they were edgier with platform shoes and they had dramatic makeup and way more attitude. And honestly, I was so obsessed. My sister and I had a giant Tupperware container filled with them, with their accessories, shoes, purses, and even their boyfriends.
Mm.
What's cool to me is that brats have had a massive resurgence with people now looking back to them
What?
for Y2K fashion inspiration. I've watched TikToks where people try to recreate Bratz doll looks, and those are my Bratz dolls. And look at these cuties that I just got from a thrift store. You have to see them. They're mini. Like, look how adorable they are.
Wow,
I just love them. They're so cute.
that's cool.
Yeah, I got lucky when I found them. I was like, oh my gosh, I need them. And my mom's like, girl, you don't need them. I'm like, yes, I do. You don't understand.
So were they like Cabbage Patch dolls in the way that when you bought one, not only did they have their own name, of course, but did they have their own like identity and
Mhm.
think special things about them that you read?
Yeah, they I'm sure they had their own like personas and what they liked. They each had like their own little like symbol, whether it being like a I don't know, it was kind of just like a token of like I don't know, their little personality. Like Jade here has like a little cat
Oh,
and Sasha here has a little bunny. So I think they had like little things that represented them, which was really cool.
this podcast probably makes it even more fun for you to thrift shop because you're probably thinking of things and then you see a thing and like I could make a segment where I can include this in a show and tell, you know?
Actually, it's the reverse. You would
Oh,
think that, right? Based off of what I am showing, but I
yeah.
actually thought about all of my ideas first and then I was like, "Ooh, what do I have that I could pull from my
Okay.
closet?" So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I see you.
Mhm. Okay, but like in future episodes, maybe I will go thrifting and peruse like in preparation for an episode.
Right. Yeah. I will not.
Mhm.
I think the show and tells on your side of the screen is more fun. Um,
Oh yeah.
so let's take a minute just to appreciate my hair because it is on point today. I mean, it's doing
What you got
things.
in it?
It's
What
huh?
products? I
Well,
said what
unfortunately, I don't.
products?
Unfortunately, I don't have studio spritz in it. You know,
Mhm.
um, all I have is some Tresemme hairspray. That's it.
Hey,
Yeah,
Tresemme. Ooh la la.
it's working.
Nice.
So, my favorite toy, and it's so apropos that you chose a doll. I love that. I love that for you.
Oh, okay.
I love that for us, for all of us, because so my favorite toy is GI
GI
Joe,
Joe.
and and there's a
I
whole
got you.
yeah. There's a no. I said it first actually.
Aw, not on my
There's a
end.
whole thing. So like in the '60s, they came out with the 12-inch GI Joes, right? And
Mhm.
the kids had them, and they were like I think they were 12 inches. They were pretty big, and they would come with like a
Mhm.
foot locker and some stuff you could take off the clothes, the shoes, and you could put they had guns and stuff like that. But there weren't very many of them. There was like a Marine guy, an Army guy, a Navy guy. They had the branches of the military represented.
Yeah.
And okay, sorry, Air Force. I heard you saying, "Hey, say Air Force." Um, but so in 1980, I don't know, 81, something like that, they came out with the
Mhm.
3 3/4 inch figures, which were the shit. And the
I feel like that's what
original,
I remember the most.
yeah, the original line had, I don't know, maybe 12 or 15 guys, and they were cool. They were great. They were awesome, and they had great personas and characters and paint and everything about them. And on the back there was a little card you could cut out all about that person, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year they came out with the swivel arm, so you can swivel their arms and their hands, and their knees had little swivel joints, and they had a kung fu grip. So you could put weapons or do whatever with them and pose them and stuff. And then they
That's
started to come
cool.
out with all the vehicles, which were awesome because you put them together as a kid. Like that was your first like Lego or like erector set kind of thing where you had to
Yeah.
put this vehicle together yourself, and you got to put the stickers on, and then you just let your imagination go wild with like. So my cousin
Mm-hmm.
Chris, he had like everything because his parents bought him like everything that came out that he wanted, and I had like 10% of that because I was like my parents didn't buy me everything, so I had to figure out the thing that I actually wanted or whatever, and so when I would go to his house every weekend, I would bring my little collection. And dude, our
Mm-hmm.
imaginations run wild with the scenarios that we would do and like the
Yeah,
little
just
movies
like the
in our
Bratz
brains,
dolls.
the little movies we would make up,
Mm-hmm.
as far as the battles we would do, and we would have whole living rooms like set up with our battles going on, and people would be walking through. We're like, hey, hey, whoa, 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 you don't do that, because we'd have like line like strings going through where people could do like a grappling hook, and they would slide down wires and stuff. So we had living rooms set up where
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even walk through it. It was like it was a whole thing.
I
Like, can you
love
go
that.
outside and go around? Because we're doing something in here. And our campaign would last like days. It wouldn't just be like a couple hours.
Your
Like the
campaign.
whole week. Dude, it was like it was like our versions of Dungeons and Dragons. We would do our own thing.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. And the fact that I went over there and he had like way more toys than I did, you know, I'm like, because I got
Mhm.
access to all that stuff. So it's like, it was kind of a proxy thing. Through him, I got to play with all the new
Yeah.
shit too, or all the expensive stuff.
I would have asked Chris like, "Hey, I really want this. You think you could like mention it to your mom?
I
See if
know,
they'll get it
right?
for you and then you just,
Or can you have her get two of them for some reason and then just give me one?
Yeah. Can you break one and then fix it?
But and then GI Joe, which was made by Hasbro, they introduced the term action figure because they didn't think boys would want to play with dolls, which was a brilliant
Mhm.
move, right? Um, and
Definitely.
that's kind of a meme too, because it's like it's a doll. You're playing with a doll. No, it's an action figure, bro.
Right.
And I'll
Mhm.
never forget. Like I love the cartoons too. In fact, that might be my cartoon next week. A little foreshadowing, a little spoiler, but the famous like PSA endings that they had. I don't know if you ever won or if you've ever watched a GI Joe or heard about it,
No.
but like, but it wasn't necessarily in the end. Sometimes it was in the middle. There's a commercial break, right? And then like in
Mhm.
the commercial break, there would be a whatever like two kids, a cartoon of like two kids skateboarding, and then like something happens where this is not what happened, but like a kid would be like trying to sell them drugs, and then one of the one of the one of the characters from GI Joe would show up, like Snake Eyes or somebody, and it'd be well,
Mhm.
no, Snake Eyes didn't talk, so that's a bad example. One of the other, like Duke, would show up, and he would be like their representative, like their safety person. You know what I mean? Like, and then like shoo the guy away, and drugs are bad for you. And
Yeah,
the
that's cool.
catchphrase was, "Now you know, and knowing's half the battle." They never said what the other half of the battle was, by the way. So we know that knowing is half the battle. What's the first part of the battle? Or what's the other half?
It's a
Doing? I
good
don't
fist
know.
fight.
Right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they had little PSAs, little cartoon PSAs in every episode, and it was always something that they wanted to make you aware of that would benefit you, because knowing is half the battle. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and
So,
watch some of those.
I think it's kind of cool. We both chose dolls that kind of expanded on their franchise because Brett's had movies too. So that was pretty cool. And they had like games and stuff on the
I think
like
they had cartoons
Nintendo
too.
3DS. Yeah, I
The
want to
regular,
say maybe.
yeah. But
Hmm.
I think that might be a draw. I don't know. I like both of them actually.
Yeah, I think yeah, those were good picks. But now we're gonna shift to our favorite nostalgic candy pick. I know last week I chose these bad boys right here.
Yes.
Yum. so I'm gonna eat those off camera later. But this week I'm gonna choose something that I haven't had forever. Bum, ba-da-dum.
Oh wow, gobstoppers. Nice.
Gobstoppers. I actually went to a candy shop in downtown Temecula last weekend, and I
Okay.
found these, and I also found these.
Retro sours,
So they're kind
tangerine.
of they're basically this company's take on Altoids, but like the fruity Altoids, which
Okay.
were my favorite. These I feel like they missed the mark for me, but more about Gobstoppers. They're obviously super nostalgic because they're based off of Willy Wonka's Everlasting
Hmm.
Gobstopper, and I loved that movie growing up. And they were actually created in 1976. So I was wondering if Gobstoppers are actually maybe one of your favorites too.
Yeah, I love gobstoppers. In fact,
Okay,
um,
cool.
I- I'll go a little deeper, and they used to make these things called dinosaur eggs. I don't know if you remember those, but
Mm-mm.
they were also jawbreakers, which is the category that gobstoppers falls into.
Of
Um,
course.
I'll go ahead and help you out a little bit. But the dinosaur eggs were cool because they were shaped they were shaped more like an egg. They weren't round like gobstoppers, and they would change colors as you sucked on them. And the middle was
Mm-hmm.
a little bit softer, like almost the same consistency as the middle of a gobstopper, but a tiny bit
Okay.
softer texture. And so
Hmm.
as the dinosaur egg changed color, it changed flavor too.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that was pretty cool.
I want to surprise you. And I want to show you what else I got from that candy store.
Oh, you got a curly whirly that
I
oh.
did get a curly whirly.
So that's what the
So I'm
marathon
super
bar.
excited.
Yes. That is all that's left of the marathon bar. The closest thing that's left to it. I've never had one. It's probably just chocolate and caramel, which is what the marathon bar was. But dude, I've never tried one. I've seen one. I just never tried one. You'll have to let me know if it's good.
Yes, I will have to let you know next episode. So stick around for that
Yeah.
because can't wait to try it. And
Why don't you try it
yeah, I'm
right now?
excited. Should I? Should
Yes.
I? Okay, okay.
Yes. Do it.
Okay.
Just try a bite.
All right.
Because if
Okay.
it's like the marathon
Oh, it's
bar,
not. It's
what?
totally not what I was expecting. It's like
Uh-oh.
super,
Yeah. It's
super
like braided. Yeah.
caramely.
Oh, it is super caramel. It's kind
Mm,
of like a
mm, mm, mm,
caramello.
mm,
Caramello.
mm, 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 mm.
So give me your honest
Girl,
opinion.
this is so good.
Is it really?
Mmm.
Okay.
This, okay. This tastes exactly like the top of a Twix. Best thing I could
Oh,
say.
yeah. Okay.
Literally
I
tastes like you just ripped
I can
off the
see that.
top of a Twix.
Okay. I can
Dude,
see
that's
that.
so good. I'm definitely gonna eat that.
Yeah. I'm jealous now. I gotta grab one.
I'm so
Um,
sorry. But just this little bad boy was like $3. I'm like, damn, for this
whoa.
little guy.
That's wow. But it was a
Inflation.
candy store though, and their prices are a lot higher
Of
than normal.
course.
Yeah. Because
Mm-hmm.
they gotta pay their rent, you know. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
I
willing to pay. Whatever.
I would say that my favorite nostalgia pick for candy this week would be Charleston Chews. And
Mm.
they come in three different flavors that I know of. There's chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. My favorite's always going to be chocolate, just because it's kind of like chocolate and vanilla, because the middle is kind of like a vanilla,
Right.
flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks when you buy one and they're stale, which they are once in a while. Um,
Yep, I've had them like that.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, dude, because when they're fresh, they're so good. You get that really
Mm-hmm.
soft, is it nougat or like a taffy nougat type?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think it's like a nougat.
yeah. But it's really, the fresh ones are really soft, and there's nothing like it because it's like, especially if you're at the movies, you get the popcorn and then you get something chocolatey like that, you know? And yeah, love a
Yeah, they had
Charleston
them
chew.
there. They had them there at the candy shop.
Yeah, I don't know when they were made. I didn't look up the history because I didn't do my homework on that as much, but um that sounds like something that was around a long time ago, maybe like at Woolworths and
Oh
shit like
yeah.
that.
Mm.
So
Okay, well, that was pretty interesting. I think we actually both chose candy that's super old, right? So I think
yeah,
we're gonna find a lot of people like probably both of them, whether they're my age or your age, right? So they
right.
kind of have like a more mass appeal. Um, okay, so that leads us to our new segment. Where are they now?
Mm.
So where are they now? Where we check on celebrities and artists we all swore would be famous forever. And today's pick is early 2000s Queen Michelle Branch. If you grew up
Mm.
in the late 90s and early 2000s, she was everywhere. Literally, wink, wink. That was one of her songs.
Nice, nice.
uh, right, right. So where is she now? Well, she actually never stopped making music. She's still touring and performing live. She does festivals and concerts as recently as this year. Apparently, there were album disputes and things that were shelved by her record companies, so we didn't really get to see her full potential. But it's good to know she's doing well and still releasing music. Fun fact, she also appeared in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I will talk about more later.
I didn't know
What you
that.
got?
First of all, that debut album that Michelle Branch came out with, I fucking loved it. I mean, there's
I
songs
fucked with
on
that
there.
hard.
There's some songs on there that I still. I mean, come on, dude. Everywhere. I mean, that's such a banger. It's so awesome.
It's so good.
But there's deeper songs than that, and I don't have the CD with me
Mm-hmm.
right now. But there's a song on that CD that I really love that wasn't like a radio play song, which
Uh-huh.
makes it even better because it's like, whoa, why didn't they play this on the radio? It was so cool. But these
Mm-hmm.
record execs thinks this song's a hit, this song's not, whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's a
Yep.
good choice. I really love Michelle Branch, and I wish she would have put out
Thanks.
more mainstream stuff.
I know, I know.
Um, so my Where Are They Now is somebody that starred in some of the biggest Gen X movies ever, including The Goonies, Stand By Me, and The Lost Boys. We are talking about the one and only goofy mother trucker, Corey Feldman.
He's
And
so goofy.
let me tell you where he is now. He's pretty much nowhere. He's
Well,
living
yeah.
he's living, in I don't know, his little mini luxury mansion in Hollywood, and he has like
Mm-hmm.
a harem of a few girls, which is kind of weird. And I mean, he's actually married, but I don't know. It's anytime you see him, it's always very cringy because he's doing something
Yes.
on stage that Michael Jackson would roll over in his grave about, or
Mm-hmm.
he's judging some weird, ludicrous contest, or he's on a talk show talking about how he was, abused as a child, which he may have
Mm-hmm.
been, and maybe that caused kind of a downward spiral for him in his career.
Right.
Um, it is what it is, and he's kind of accepted his quirkiness, because it seems like it's weird. It's a mix of he doesn't take himself too seriously, but sometimes he does because he thinks he's
Mm-hmm.
really good at certain things, even though he's not. Like he must not have like a bunch of friends that tell him, "Dude, don't do that," because
I
he
mean,
does the
I'm
thing.
kind of glad though that it didn't end up like Corey Haim or River Phoenix. Do you know what I mean? So I would kind of prefer the weird Corey that he is, because even on Dancing with the Stars, like he was still entertaining regardless, you know?
Yeah, and then in the '80s, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim were such a popular duo. I mean, everybody called them the two Coreys because
Mm-hmm.
that's what they were,
Yeah.
and they ended up on a reality show called The Two Coreys, which I kind of liked because it was interesting you know, seeing that they were still kind of at least doing something, because they were
Yeah.
in a few decent movies together. I mean, a couple good movies together, really, but it's too bad that it ended up the way it did with that whole thing. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's better that he's still around because he's actually going on tour with a couple of his castmates promoting like the 50th, was it the
Oh,
40th anniversary of Lost Boys? Yeah,
wow.
40th. And it's him, Will Wheaton, and what's his name from um the other guy. He was the he was the fat kid
Oh,
from
yeah, the O'Connor or
yes,
O'Connell.
yeah, O'Connell.
Yeah.
Is it not
Jerry?
Jeremy? Jerry O'Connell. Yeah.
Jerry, yeah.
Um
Hmm.
so he's they're all three kind of doing their thing together, promoting and reliving it and stuff. They talked about
Yeah.
making a new Lost Boys. I hope they don't, because they made a couple sequels that just had Corey Feldman and then everybody else that nobody knew, and they were really bad sequels. Um,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, but
Like, yeah, we
yeah,
don't talk about that.
well, no, you shouldn't.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Well, the
Maybe
next
it's not.
topic
Maybe it wasn't Jerry O'Connell
oh,
because he wasn't in Lost Boys. But no,
I mean,
not
he
Lost
still
Boys.
could
Not
go on tour with them.
no. Sorry. It's not Lost Boys. They're doing the 40th anniversary of Stand by Me. Yeah, because all
Yeah,
three of
Stand
them
By
were
Me.
in it.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the wrong movie. But Corey Feldman, of course, has a crossover in all those movies. But yeah, so yeah, where are they
Hmm.
now? He's just kind of not doing anything. So that's where he is.
Generations clash, and heads will bash, cause we're doing nothing but talking trash.
A segment called "Talking Trash," where
Oh.
yes, you might have to come up with something on the fly,
Oh,
because
goodness. Okay.
this is a segment where we each have to find something that we think something in the other person's generation that's just garbage, and they have to defend it. Okay? So whether you like it or not, I have to find something in your generation that I think is trash, and you have to defend it. So I'm
Okay.
not going to make it something easy like In Sync, because I know you're passionate about that, and you could defend it really well, probably, even though they are trash.
Yeah.
Anyway, um,
Get out of here.
what I think is trash from your generation is Beanie Babies. Go.
Oh my gosh. What can I say? Beanie Babies? Come on. I mean, we had a ton of them. I'm not gonna lie. We had a ton, and for me, they're nostalgic, but at the same time, I can't defend it. I can't defend them because yes, they were of the time and they were super collectible, and everyone thought they were gonna make money, just like rare VHS tapes and things like that. But honestly, they don't really hold up, you know?
No,
And I
no.
don't have any. So that goes to show you that they didn't really fare too well with me personally.
And then McDonald's came out with the teeny beanie babies that people just loved also, but they're
Yes.
worth
Now
nothing.
those I fuck with, okay? Those are so cute. I remember those more so, but I don't have any, but I wish I did.
Is that one of those things that if you just make something smaller, it's cute and people want it?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I am consuming that. Yeah.
So next time you go
Um
thrifting, if you see beanie babies or teeny beanie babies, you're gonna have to grab a couple of them.
Oh yeah, let me get that platypus.
So since it's a new surprise
Uh,
segment, if you can't think of something from my gen that's trash that you want me to defend,
I got
I can.
trash.
Oh,
I got
oh,
some trash.
you got trash? Is it Corey
Um
Feldman?
good one, good one. No, my trash is the kind of wackadoodle shows that my mom and you probably loved growing up. And for that, I'm gonna give you Fraggle Rock, and I'm just gonna leave that there because I tried to watch it and trash. I'm sorry,
All
but
right. No,
I love
Missy.
Jim Henson and stuff like that. But Fraggle Rock just wasn't it for me. But maybe if I grew up with it, it would be, you know?
Listen. We all know Fraggle Rock is the Muppets on crack. That's just what it is, and
Right, right,
you have
right,
to love
right.
it for what it is. Um, the opening theme song though was great. I love Fraggle Rock. You know,
Okay.
and they were all those Muppets were like strung out on heroin, basically. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. They had dumb little stories that nobody cared about. It wasn't the Muppets, but somewhere somehow there was a time slot available, and somebody had some raggedy extra Muppets in their trunk, and they were like, "Let's call these
Right.
the Fraggles." And well, that probably wasn't even the first choice. It was probably like Crack Babies or something. I don't know, but they did it. They did the damn thing. It was done. It was kind of popular for its time, actually. And
Right, I know. I know.
yeah, that one's also hard to defend, but you know, it is what it is. It had a short run, and the Fraggles are gone. I think they're all dead now, but there you have it.
Yeah, that's what I had for you.
Down in Fraggle Rock,
Um,
bam, bam, down in Fraggle Rock.
I'm just yeah, I'm just kind of like when me and my mom go on YouTube and we look up old stuff, that was one of the things that I couldn't get with, you know? And that's okay. It wasn't for me, dog.
No, wasn't for a lot of people.
So now we're gonna go into more of a reflection, and we are gonna talk about our favorite childhood memory. So
Okay.
one of my favorite childhood memories actually has to do with writing. So in third grade, around Halloween, our class had a contest where we had to write a scary story. I'm pretty sure mine was about Dracula, and somehow I ended up winning. The funniest part is that my teacher didn't really have an official prize, so she just gave me a big ass handful of mini packets of Skittles. She was like, "Good job, Miranda, you won." And I'm just like, "Hell yeah, give me!" I was like, "Hey, no complaints here, right?"
Nice.
Which honestly makes total sense now looking back because it was around Halloween, so it was
Right.
probably the only thing she had on hand. And but it was the first time that I really felt like, ooh, like maybe I could be really good at this, and it just really stays with me.
That's cool. That's a cool
Mm-hmm.
story, and you know, Skittles are always a prize. So, I was here at the campground last night. Ted and I were, my brother Ted, in case the viewers don't know, we were out in our chairs at the fire, kind of talking late last night. This has nothing to do with this segment. I just wanted to bring it up real quick before I forgot. Um, it was because it was interesting. We were talking about horror movies and how I got you into horror movies, and we both really love horror. And
Mm-hmm. I love horse.
when, well, yeah, I love horrors. Love horrors. Can't get enough horrors. um, all colors, all shapes and sizes. Anyway, wow, you made me forget what I was talking about. Um, so anyway, horrors. Um, so there's this thing in my background where my dad and mom brought me to a drive-in theater when I was about, I don't know, 5 years old. This movie came out called The Brood, Brood,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a horribly gory and creepy movie that they never should have brought kids to because I just found out last night by talking to Ted, he was there too. He was with
Mm-hmm.
me. And
What?
I was so into the movie, I don't remember that. So
Wow.
because he here's the thing that's great about what went down last night. It scarred him as badly as it scarred me. And I
Whoa.
never knew that because we never like
It
I
was
think
a
he heard
shared
me.
experience, but
Right, but
wow.
I think he's heard me talk about it before, but he never interjected and said, "Oh yeah, I was there too." But last night I found out it wasn't just me. Um, there's a few scenes in that movie that stick with us to this day. But another interesting thing about it is I love horror movies, and he doesn't. So he dealt with it his way, and I
Oh.
guess I embraced it and made it. Eventually, I don't know what age I was where I kind of horror movies clicked with me and I really liked them. Maybe it was all the way to like Blair Witch, but Not really,
Right.
because I remember watching like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all those like with my cousin and stuff. And maybe that's when I really started. I just thought about it right now. Maybe that's when I really started kind of liking horror movies, is those campy ones, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And
Yeah.
he just brought it up like, well, when did you like why do you like horror movies? Because if that scarred you so much like it did me, you should be like in the same camp as me, where it's like, we don't
Right.
love horror movies. But I just turned it around and I fucking love them now, especially if it's a great horror
Mm-hmm.
movie. So it's interesting that I went one way with it and he went the other way with it, you know. But
Wow.
I'll reel it back in,
That's super
and we
cool.
will talk about my one of my favorite childhood memories. Um, and I just thought about this last night. I was like, it's something you can't really do research about, right? You have to just kind of think
Mm-hmm.
back on your childhood or
Right.
some
Mm-hmm.
stories that have happened. So when I was growing up in the 70s, um, it was common practice to have people go around and knock on your door and collect for things. So what my brothers did to take advantage of my cuteness as a child, um, was they got like a tin can and they made like a label around it, said, I think it was muscular dystrophy,
Oh my gosh.
which was a thing that people went around door to door and collected for. And they had me go around and collect and make a bunch of money. And, they would take 90% of it and give me a few quarters and, get lost, kid. And,
Mm-hmm. Scram.
that's kind of how they funded their weekends, is by making their cute little brother go ask, older people for money. And people always have 50 cents or $1 to put in a little can, right? And feel like they did something
Mm-hmm.
good. And yeah, that was it. The muscular
That's
dystrophy
crazy.
was an actual like huge deal. It was a association telethon hosted by Jerry Lewis back in the day, and it was a massive TV event every Labor Day. Fun fact, I was born on Labor Day,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a little tie-in right there.
That's
And
pretty
then I
cool.
looked it up, and I was
We're not
laughing my
cool.
ass off. I was laughing my ass off because I looked it up, and it says kids in the 70s and 80s often went door to door fundraising because communities were much more neighborhood oriented. So my fucking brothers
Mm-hmm.
knew that, and that's why they sent me to do that shit.
Oh
And they
yeah, they
just,
pimped your ass out.
oh hell yes, hell yes. I can't say that I probably wouldn't have done the same thing, but I was the youngest, and it is what it is, you know.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So if any of
I'm glad
you
you.
that are, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years older than me are watching this and you lived in my neighborhood, I owe you money.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Actually,
glad you don't blame them too harshly for that.
I don't owe you. My brothers owe you, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No, it was a
exactly.
funny story and it was
Take it
fun
up with
times.
them.
It was a good childhood. I
Mm-hmm.
loved my childhood.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of how I love my childhood, that takes us to our next topic, our favorite game, whether it be a video game or a board game. Um, Today, I chose the Orange King himself. And no, not the one you're thinking of. Almost called Willy the Wombat by the developers at Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot is one of the best
Mm.
90s games ever. I remember playing it with you, I want to say just on the regular PlayStation, and we were absolutely horrible at it. Not you, but me and Megan, and I still am. But for me, it's just so damn addicting. From the music to finally hitting a checkpoint, it's very iconic, and it still remains relevant today because they still make Crash games. And these are a couple that we have. So we have this one, and this one, and this one.
Yeah,
So
CTR
yeah,
might be one of the newer ones because there's a new CTR like because it's like basically Mario Kart but it's Crash version.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kart
I
racing.
love them.
I loved
I
it, man.
love
I
them
got
so
into that
much.
so much when you guys were kids. I was really good at it too. But
Oh yeah,
um
you were.
so it's like if you didn't like Mario Brothers or something like that, you would play Crash, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
I still prefer Crash though.
do you also have a favorite board game from your generation that you can remember?
I would say it has to be Life.
Oh yeah.
Life or Candyland. Life or Candyland. They're kind of a toss up for me.
They're such different games, though.
Yeah.
I,
One you just play
obvious.
forever, like Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly's. It's funny that you mention that because my favorite board game of all time is Monopoly,
Of
and
course.
it was originally created to criticize greed and capitalism, but ironically, it became one of the most profitable board games ever because everybody has it in their house. You know, some
Hmm.
version of it. Um, it's just really fun to play, and then I I ended up getting I think on PlayStation I got a Monopoly and I got Life. Life is really fun to play on PlayStation or not PlayStation, the
Hmm.
Wii actually,
The Wii. Hmm.
because they integrated it really well and it's really cool. And at the end you add up all your money and stuff and it's it's really fun to play. Um,
Yeah.
but Monopoly, there's just something about the properties and the houses and the hotels, and you get to pick your token and, you know, rolling doubles and going to jail and getting out of jail. It's really cool. And with Monopoly, it's its own thing because everyone has like house rules, you know, like
Hmm.
how many you have to go around the board before you can buy a property, or you start with a different amount of money, or you start
Yep.
with a couple
That's what I was
properties,
gonna
or
say.
yeah, or there's no trading. You can't trade at all. You got to do your own thing. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
house rules in Monopoly, which kind of makes it more interesting because it's like, okay, what are the rules in your house? It's different than when I play at home. But and then
Definitely.
I looked it up. The longest recorded Monopoly game ever played was over 1,600 hours.
What?
Yeah,
That's insane. What
I
the
know.
heck?
Well, sometimes it can go for a long
Wow.
time because both people have
Hmm.
like half the board, and they just keep paying each other back and forth until somebody gets like more unlucky than the other person, and they pay more, and they end up going broke.
Wow, that's super cool and crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's a great game.
Wow. I think that was also like a really good head to head, but
Well,
I don't know.
also, I want to say if I have to also pick a video game to go up against yours, which yours is great because I also loved Crash.
Hmm.
Um, you're not gonna you've probably never even played this because it's so old. But when Atari first came out for the console at home, the Atari 2400 or whatever it was, they had a game
Hmm.
called Pitfall, and it was a very
Oh, never heard
basic
of it.
game. It was a right to left scrolling game, and you just had to jump on alligators' heads or jump over
Mm.
a pit or swing over a vine like little Indiana Jones guy. And it was super basic. It was probably like 8-bit or 16-bit graphics, but it was fun because it was like back in like you know when video games first came out for the home. It was like, oh man, this is cool. I can have this in my house and I can play this all the time. And there weren't hundreds of video games. There was like 10 or 15, and they would come out with a new one every
Right.
once in a while. You'd have to wait for a video
Hmm.
game to come out. But yeah, I think Pitfall was really fun to play on Atari because it was one of the first games we had at home, and you could kind of play whenever you want. And it was a new idea for that.
Hmm.
So there you
That's
go.
super cool.
Yeah,
I like how we both still managed to grow up with video games. You know, even my kids are probably going to grow up with video games. So I think that's at least
yeah.
one part of our childhoods that kind of carries on a little bit.
And we talked about last time how video games almost crashed. Well, they did crash in the early '80s, but Nintendo brought them back to life. And if not for that, who knows
Hmm.
what would have happened?
Yeah. So now we get to choose our random facts. And mine is it's something we could both cry over. It is the price of gas.
Oh my gosh.
But if you had to guess, what do you remember or think the average price of gas was in the 90s?
Well, I know in the mid '80s in California, the average price of gas was like $1.29 or something like that. So in the '90s, I'm gonna say probably like 250.
Oh no, it was still there actually. It was about 120, 130 in
Oh,
1990. So yeah, you're right on the money there.
okay.
Um so we did some calculations and that price in today's dollar amount would be 270. So meaning the real cost of gas in California in the 90s was significantly lower than today. I
Right.
find that crazy.
It's funny because the only reason I know that is because I was watching a movie from the 80s, a really bad Tommy Lee Jones movie, and I paused it when he was walking. He was in a gas station, and when he walked and the big sign was behind him, I paused it because I want to know what gas prices were.
Yep.
And it was like $1.19, $1.21, $1.29. But the funny thing is, diesel fuel was the same price as super. So nowadays, diesel is about $1 more than super. But back
Right.
then in the 80s, diesel wasn't considered like a premium fuel. It was like a runoff of the gasoline process. So it was
Mm-hmm.
considered kind of like a throwaway fuel. So that's why they couldn't charge as much for it as they do now. And now it's been like
Interesting.
diesel fuel is more of its own thing. It's refined its own way. And diesels
Mm-hmm.
and like my Mercedes RV here runs on diesel, unfortunately, because it's more expensive than regular gas. And in Monterey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying about $7 a gallon for diesel right now.
Damn.
Not cool, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Not cool,
I
bro.
know. But yeah, that was a good random fact that made me sad. Thanks. I appreciate
I
that.
know.
My random fact, I think you'll find interesting based on the fact that this company has really grown and they're still around, is back in the day, Netflix got started by mailing DVDs. There was a little red
Mm-hmm.
envelope, and you were online, and you picked whatever movies you want. In fact, you picked like a wish list, and
Yep.
maybe 5 or 10 movies, and that wish list would always be there. And if you rented it, there would be like an X on it, like that would move down the list, and then all your other stuff would move up the list. I still remember that. And then
Right.
you rented a movie or three or whatever, and then what, 2 days later it would be in the mail, and you'd be like, oh cool, my DVDs came. And
Mm-hmm.
then you watched them, and then it came with another envelope inside of it where you resealed it and dropped it back in the
Yep.
mail. And it seemed like such an analog way to do things, and it was, but
Mm-hmm.
they grew, and it became what it is now, which is a streaming service, which is crazy.
Right.
And
I think
they
that
put
it was sorry, go ahead.
And they put Blockbuster out of business, basically. That's what everybody says,
Right, right. Mm-hmm. That's what I
which
was gonna
sucks because
say.
Blockbuster was so much fun to go to back in the day.
Oh,
But everything
I loved
changes,
it.
But Netflix started those little red envelopes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had, what's that one? They still have
Oh,
them like on the outside.
Redbox.
Redbox. They have those like outside Walgreens and stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't have those
Um,
anymore. Those are
well,
obsolete.
they did as of like a year or two ago, and then they took them all away because they went out of
Yep.
business. But man, that was a big thing too, is being able to go to Redbox and grab a
Mm-hmm.
couple
Oh
movies.
my gosh.
But there was always
We
that
still
thing
have some.
where like, they didn't have the movie you went there for, so you'd have to try to kind of dig
Yep.
a little deeper. And Redbox would always try to trick you because they would have like shitty versions of movies that you wanted, but they were like knockoffs, and they tried to kind
Mm-hmm.
of trick you sometimes. Like, it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's like Raiders of the Lost Box or something like that. And it's, like
Mm-hmm.
the thumbnail would be similar to Raiders, but it would be like a crazy knockoff of it, and sometimes it would fool people and they would get mad about it. But yeah, I think a lot of people still have Redbox movies that they didn't return, kind of like
Yeah, we
Blockbuster.
have one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, you put them out of
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. We only have one, but I just think it's cool to hold on to like that little artifact.
Well, it's funny because Netflix offered to sell to Blockbuster in 2000 for like 50 million
Wow.
bucks for $50 million, and they got laughed out of the room. So think
Dang.
how that would have changed things if Blockbuster would have bought Netflix, because Netflix would be
Wow.
gone. Blockbuster would be the name on your TV now, streaming stuff, right?
Yep.
So they would have just changed names, but it still would have been kind of weird. Like alternate universe, it's Blockbuster streaming things instead of Netflix.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy to think about because it could have been so different.
I know. So instead of
All
Blockbuster or
right.
Netflix and chill, it would have been Blockbuster and chill. Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Block busted and thrusting. What do you mean?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's right. I came up with that quick, boy.
I like it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we're running long. What are we doing?
All right, we can either do burning question or underrated singer band.
Um, let's do a burning question because I got one for
Okay,
you
let's
that's
do
really gonna
it.
burn. You're gonna need medication after this. Um, Here it is. If you went back in time with no technology on your body, could you actually recreate modern technology and become rich?
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I I would think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would want to create necessarily, but it would definitely have to be something like a portable player or something like that because I think that's just my kind of that's just something that I love. Ooh, I really like that. What would you make?
I would try to make a
Or try
phone.
to Ooh, okay.
But the problem with like phones is that like most people use technology today, but they don't know how it works or they don't know, you know, what it takes to build something like that.
Right,
Like
and I
try to
don't.
build an iPhone from scratch, right? One of the problems is, the basic knowledge alone, like it wasn't there, so you might sound crazy when you try to come up with something like that. Also,
Right.
like the average smartphone contains materials and parts sourced from dozens of countries. So how would you even go about getting
Wow.
all that? You know, I don't know.
Wow,
It just
yeah.
it would seem crazy because everybody would be like, well, how would you even do that? Or I mean, you almost have to explain you're from the future, and then you sound insane. So I don't know how you can come up with something like an iPhone 50 years ago. How do you even, where do you
Right.
start? You got to like talk to engineers or something who are willing to listen to you
Yeah,
and
you
get
gotta
behind
network,
you.
be a world traveler. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. It would be really hard.
Yeah, you would have to yeah, you'd have to be a time traveler. Like that's really that's a good question to think
Can you
about.
imagine
That's
another,
a good
like
one.
an addendum to that? Can you imagine bringing an iPhone to the past, like 50 years ago and showing people?
Wow, that would blow their minds. They would freaking hang you at the fucking tree.
Yeah, like you're a
He's
witch,
a
dude.
witch. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, they
a
would
male
burn you
witch
at
is
the stake.
a male
Yeah,
witch is called a warlock, by the way.
a
So,
warlock. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
which is funny
Okay,
because
well,
Jody and
mine.
I don't know why, but
Go
Jody
ahead.
and I, the last few weeks, it's come up a lot where people call a man a witch, and then I'm like, I always correct it, and she's like,
It's a
oh, they did it
warlock.
again. It's supposed to be a warlock because there was a movie in the '80s called Warlock
Uh-huh.
about a couple of warlocks that battled each other, and the guy that played the warlock, the main character, he's still in movies today. In fact, I just saw him in a movie last night on Netflix.
Oh wow.
The new Sacha Baron Cohen movie. It's a comedy, and he was in that
Hmm.
movie. I was like, oh, that's the Warlock dude, and that's how I'll always refer to him.
That's cool. That's super random.
Yeah.
Well, my burning question is kind of what we were already talking about. So, one thing about the 90s, and honestly, this obviously applies to your generation too, is that TV felt like a shared experience. Families would
Hmm.
watch the same show together at the same time every day. There weren't endless streaming apps or thousands of options competing for your attention. And everyone was kind of plugged into the same pop culture moments at once, which, we've already talked about. Which makes me wonder if you could watch one show again for the very first time, whether it be from your childhood or from when you were raising us, what would it be? So for me, I'd probably pick something like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but weirdly, not because I was obsessed with it as a kid. It's kind of like Dawson's Creek, where I was actually like a little younger than the target audience, and it kind of just missed me, so I didn't get to fully appreciate it or understand why people loved it so much at the time.
Hmm. That's a
So,
cool
what would you
question
choose?
because I've often thought about that in the aspect of movies. If I could watch, we just talked about it last night.
Okay.
if you could walk into a movie theater, he had no idea about what you were seeing, and if it was something you're
Ooh.
like if you could watch Star Wars all over again and get the same
Mm-hmm.
feels as you got the very first time, like would it be that movie? What movie would it be? Raiders or Back to the Future? Something that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But let's stick with the theme. We'll talk about TV shows. But it has to be my generation, or can it just
No.
be
No,
so?
it could be from, yeah, either.
It would either be one of two things because probably my top two favorite TV shows of all time, and both of them are pretty recent, within the last 10, 15 years. One's Breaking Bad, because that was
Mm.
just, you know, it
Yeah,
was just
I know you
so
love that.
good, and so original and so different, and everybody was great in it. And the other
Mm-hmm.
one, even though for as much as I love Stranger Things, it's just too new. I can't pick that. I would say Game of Thrones, just
Oh,
because
I never finished it.
man, it was just such a great tale from beginning to end. And I got the book. I got, I was, I don't know. I haven't started reading it yet, but I kind of want to read it to see how different it is than the show because the show I loved. I've rewatched it from beginning to end, all seasons, all episodes, at least I don't know 3 times already. And
Mm-hmm.
each time I see something new, or it just gets better. I love the Game of Thrones, so that would be my answer.
Wow, that's pretty interesting because I watched it I think up until the third season and then it just kind of like fell off for me. I was like,
Oh
eh,
man, it
it's
just gets
whatever.
better.
Really, I heard the finale was like really bad or it wasn't well
So
received.
the finale wasn't trash. The problem with the finale that everybody had was it was really dark. Not
Oh, okay.
like visually dark. Like it needed to be lighter. You couldn't really see a lot of the battles that were going on because they made it really like everything happened at nighttime. You know, they decided
Oh.
to do it really in a dark way, and it needed to be even if it's nighttime, it needed to be lit up better because it was hard to
Mm-hmm.
tell what's going on, which is very unusual for a show. I mean, it's
Oh.
like, you know, um, and then people had a problem with the actual way that it ended, as far as who died and who didn't die, and what happened to
Mm-hmm.
one of the main characters that didn't die. So yeah, it
Okay.
seemed a little bit like they were a little bit unprepared and they just kind of threw something together. I don't know. Maybe they should have done
Okay.
more of a focus group thing and had a couple different endings, like a couple options to choose from, but they didn't. So it is what it is. You just got to kind of live with it. But regardless of the ending, it was just amazing all the way through.
I think a lot of people will definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
loved it. Yeah. So what is your underrated band or song from your generation?
Ooh, so this week my pick is Cake.
Oh
So
yeah, good
formed
one.
in 1999, or sorry, 1991 in Sacramento, California, they built a really distinctive sound that mixed deadpan vocals, country, funk, and indie rock in a way that didn't really sound like anything else at the time. Most people would recognize songs like The Distance and Short Skirt, Long Jacket, which were huge staples in the late 90s and early 2000s. What is interesting to me is that they never really dismembered or officially broke up. They kind of just like faded out of mainstream radio. And I know, of course, they still have a good like cult following, but they actually continued to perform live and release music over the years. I felt like bands like Cake is just more unique than people gave them credit for at the time. Their sound was so recognizable that it's surprising that they didn't stay a bigger mainstream presence longer.
I feel like you only know Cake because of me.
I agree. I agree. And, the radio and probably like playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band had something to do with
Um,
it.
oh, Guitar Hero should be definitely be part of a segment.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that could be considered a video game, right? So I mean,
Of
that could be
course.
part
That's,
of
yeah.
one of those deals. So Cake, I love cake. I I mean, I like pie, but I also love cake. No, I my favorite song by them actually it was when they did Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive." because
Oh yeah, that's
it's
good.
just a real cool melodic version of it. Plus they get to use the F word, so there's that. They
Hmm.
drop the F bomb in there. Um,
That's cool. I haven't heard that in a
wow,
long time.
Cake. That's great. That was a great one.
Mhm.
So my
Yay.
underrated band from my gen would be a band that you may never have heard of, actually, and you might have to go back and just do some homework and listen to them because they were great, and they were called The Squeeze.
Ooh,
Um,
nope, never heard of them.
they had some hits in the 80s. They were kind of, their moniker was kind of um, like the British Beatles kind of thing, but they weren't big like the Beatles. They were like very underrated and probably underappreciated because they had some catchy melodies, clever songwriting, things like that. Their song "Tempted" became more popular decades later in movies and commercials and streaming playlists because it's one of those things where a song or a movie comes out and it's just not well received, but then 20 years later people decide, oh, it's a cult classic,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and so they're one of those bands. I know you've heard Tempted
Cool.
before, but if you look it up, you'll be like, but one of the best songs by Squeeze is Pulling Muscles from a Shell. And
Pulling muscles from a shell.
if you hear that live, it's like they really get into it. But Tempted is really good. Um, Tempted by the fruit of
Fruit of
another. Yeah,
another.
that's the
Okay, I
Squeeze.
know that song.
Yeah. So
Ooh,
very
okay.
cool, very cool songwriting. Some really deep tracks. But yeah, you got to check them out.
Very cool. I had no idea about them at all, so that's super cool.
Yeah,
I'll definitely have to check them out. And that one song.
check all the
Okay,
songs out.
well, I think we had a really good episode, and that's it for this week's episode of Defend Your Gen. We covered everything from childhood memories, pop culture, and all the random things that somehow shaped our generation. Now it's your turn to decide who made the better case this week, me, the millennial, or my dad, reppin' Gen X. Make sure to vote, drop your thoughts, and let us know who actually defended their generation better. Until next time, see you on the flip side.
We hope you had a good time, but it's all over now. Bye, bye, bye.